Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you in another video. All right, so I am thinking about the AMC Ape preferred shares conversation. Stepping away from basketball for a little bit. Hopefully we'll get right back to that. But this is something that I've been doing for a long time and stepped away from for about 2 months. It's my Apes Rant series. Essentially, we're talking about um, my journey, but more so right now, I'm talking about just how I'm viewing this particular thing. Yesterday I talked about it, explained what I understood. Today, I'm listening to some conversations being had about the situation. People are very concerned that the AMC 8 preferred share dividend is not necessarily a dividend, but just a really, really colorful way of stock splitting. My understanding is that it's going to, what they're able to do at this point with the AMC ape preferred shares is they're able to take half of the value of what it is that your AMC is worth, and basically temporarily, from what I understand, split the price of that in half. So it's a stock split, not a dividend. But it's worded as a dividend in such a way. So I'm learning more about ape. Essentially, I'm learning about it and how it's going to be reflected in the account. There's no extra money coming into your account. They're splitting your value in half of your AMC shares, but that doesn't make sense, to be completely honest with you. If I'm supposed to, like, let's say I have 100 AMC shares, I'm supposed to be able to get 100 ape shares with it. So what essentially is expected to happen is that AMC, what is it, at $24? Essentially what that would be worth is $12, right? Just by example, whatever is in your account should be worth half, but you should still see the same dollar amount because it'll be replaced with a whole another 100 shares of this ape. Then information that I gathered, I guess, is supposed to be coming down the pipeline. At some point in time, those ape preferred stocks will be able to be converted into AMC preferred stock. Now, the issue that we were talking about yesterday is if people start selling their ape preferred stock dividend, will this indeed, in fact, tank ape? Because it is listed as a stock, even though you can't necessarily purchase it, you can certainly sell it. And a couple of brokers are essentially saying, because of the fact that it's a preferred stock, the way that it's structured, they don't offer it as a dividend, or they don't offer it at all. So it'll be closed only. Now, I don't know if some of the brokers have updated that, because I know this is a very unique situation. So maybe they want to amend it for this particular thing. But that's what the last I heard of it would be. So, this is a lot about the situation I think people are worried about, and I understand what they're saying. I'm curious to see if it's going to play out the way I just described it to you, as to where I'm still gathering information and I'm not certain. So I'm just giving you what I'm hearing, not confirming anything. But what I'm telling you is my concern doesn't exist in regards to this, and I'll tell you why. I'm not worried about this. I don't care about this. I don't care at all about this. I understand people have real legitimate concerns, and I respect that if you're investing in the company AMC long term and you're not thinking necessarily about MOAS, then this is something you should be very, very intuitive about and get your knowledge up, and then weigh your options in regards to that. But as for myself, I'm here for MOAS. I'm here for MOAS. I'm here because I've been robbed by the market makers on January 21st, 2021, just like many, many other people who owned AMC and GME that day. So this is me wanting that situation to be addressed, as well as everything else that led up to it that would allow such a thing to even happen. And what I found is all the other corruption and stuff that's back behind the curtain. So for me, all I want the CEO Adam Aaron to do for me is what he's doing, which is first acknowledge that my presence here is not because I'm just trying to get my investment going for my personal life and hopefully gain some wealth in the end. That's not why I'm here. I'm here because I believe that that process is compromised purposefully. And anytime I do put my money into anything like that, I feel like I'm not necessarily getting what out of it I should, based on that manipulation that's being alleged. What I want Adam Aaron to do as a representative company in the entire stock market is be the leader in regards to helping us reveal the corruption that's affecting the entire stock market. That's all I care for him to do. And I respect that over the last year and a half, he's had a responsibility to his company, not to this particular type of shareholder, which we can differentiate between the other types of shareholders, which are here to invest in AMC because they believe in the company alone, not this protest, right? And those people deserve to be considered, and his company deserves to be saved, because ultimately that's what we were here to do, is help him save his company. If he does a bunch of stuff that doesn't save his company and puts his company back in the dumps, then our effort didn't do what it was intended to do, right? Because our effort was to use his company by saving it as a means of saying, see, this is what they're doing over here. It's not right. And the only way to keep it from happening is if someone were to do what it is that we're doing. So look at us. We're hovered around AMC. The corruption is taking place, and the only reason why this AMC company hasn't tanked to the ground is because we're holding it up. We're literally, you see my hand, I'm holding it up by holding my shares despite the price being whatever it's going to be. We're on the other end of force trying to press against this thing. And so I understand that this is going on all over the stock market. I understand that the practice is not bad, right? Because there are bad companies out there that are floating around selling shares of garbage to people that is not going to go anywhere. And short sellers are the vacuum, so to speak, that cleans them up to assure that we don't find ourselves looking at random stock boo-boo and buying it and ultimately losing all of our money. They make sure that the garbage isn't there to even buy. So I like those guys when they're doing their job properly. But when they're getting rid of companies that shouldn't be gotten rid of, like Toys R Us and AMC, American Staples, that are only down because of the pandemic and will be coming back as soon as we go right back outside. Those are the companies they attacked and tried to destroy behind our backs while we were all hiding in the house. That is something that ultimately over leveraged themselves, trying to play us like that, thinking that we would just stay, away from those companies, and got a whiff of what they were doing, thanks to Roaring Kitty and those guys back in the day, about 4 years ago is when that initially came out. And all of that information has led to us coming together to independently address the issue that our government cannot address by themselves, that no one is going to hold these guys accountable for but us. So all I've been waiting patiently for is Adam Aaron to do something for the movement, because he's been acknowledging under, the guise of how do I say this? He speaks symbolically through Twitter, through his interviews and things of that nature. He's let us know in ways that I interpret and understand very clearly that he understands what we're doing here, believes that there's something awry in the situation as well, and will be responsible and smart about the timing in which he addresses those things. That's all I've been waiting for him to do, and he's been doing it right. All of it. And that's the thing. Everybody sit up here saying, I don't like Adam Aaron, da, 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 da. And I'm just sitting back saying Adam Aaron is doing everything BDF 44 wants him to do. Everything. The whole time. I haven't been upset with him at all. I've wanted him to keep the balance of what his responsibilities are, so that he doesn't look like he's toying around with kids. You understand what I'm saying? Because until we get the credibility that comes with proving that we're right, that's exactly what he looks like when he plays with us in the forefront of the camera in such a way. Until we started gaining the credibility, once the information started coming out and we started seeing stuff, then he could start coming forward and saying, hey, little things, slowly but surely. But early on, the only thing he could actually do in regards to the apes was be subliminal. Speak to us like Braun does. You understand what I'm saying? And because I speak that language, I just kind of get it. You know, he speaks us in a way to where he's not as obvious as he needs to be, but he's obvious enough so that we know that he gets the point. So now that all that's happened, I knew something would have to be done in a very roundabout way that probably wouldn't be able to cover all bases in order to reveal the corruption that we're alleging. And that's what's happening. This is happening. Everybody's worried that we're not getting an actual dividend. It's because the point is to not give us a dividend, people. The point is not to give us a dividend. This is a protest part of the play. This is when he addresses the people who are here to help change the stock market. He's helping us now. This is when he steps away from the stuff that he needs to do to keep himself looking like a CEO, and he does things to try to save his company from being attacked by these short sellers. Win pounds. So for those who are worried about the dividend and it not reflecting in a way that makes you feel good about the investment you have, understand that we're entering a phase of the situation where I don't think it's about the company anymore. Now it's about policing the situation. He's addressed the company. He took care of his debt. He made sure that he got, investments that ultimately make the company better, that give them the base of financial stability so that he can have a leg to stand on in a fight like this. Because remember, at the beginning of this process, his company was dying, they were in massive debt, and they didn't have a way out of it. They needed to take the money that we were investing in the company and do good things with it. They've done that. And that takes time. That's why it took so long. Okay? So as I'm looking at all of this, I'm like, yeah, the man's he's doing right. Investing in the gold company, love it. Investing in outsourced popcorn, love it. All this is good. Making sure he's not doing stuff that ultimately hurts our situation. Having good earnings. Every time there's an earnings coming up, we're good. We haven't had any bad business reports from earnings at all since he's been doing it in the way that he's done it. So everybody's throwing out the fear, uncertainty, and doubt and trying to tell me not to pay attention to him, talking about all the stocks that he's selling on his own personal stock, and the different moves that he has to make as CEO, not as an ape. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not looking at the moves he's making in regards to being the CEO at all. I'm not interested. Why? Because he's already let me know where he's at with the subliminals. I already know. Like, I already know. That's the point. When you speak that language, you don't have to question other moves. I already know what the other moves are for. It's for the professional aspect of what it is he's doing. It's for making sure that he stays the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company. And so he has dual responsibilities. One is to do that, and the other is to save the company itself from these short sellers who are going to try to drive it into the ground continuously. If for some reason the apes walk away, his company goes to the ground, and he knows that. That's why he needs to continue to help us. Because if we, for any reason, which we won't, walk away, he's going to get shorted. What you're going to see is AMC probably drop 70% in like one day. If the apes walk away, the thing tanks immediately. And so that's what I know for a fact. So all this talk about our dividend is going to dilute the shares, it's going to do all that. No. All of that is short-term nothingness. Why? Because what it's actually going to do is reveal that there's more shares out there. And that's what we need him to help us with. We need to factually prove that there are more shares out there than what is listed. Then he can verbally speak factually about the things that otherwise he needed to be subliminal about. This will take the muzzle off of his mouth as a CEO so that those two worlds can blend together. That's what this preferred stock split will do. It would allow him to speak about the short sellers as a CEO. Because there won't be no doubt about the corruption. There won't be any doubt about how many shares are out there. There won't be any doubt about this corruption at all, because it'll be proven. There are not going to be 500 million shares available. There's much more, which means there needs to be much more ape. And once they get to a point where they realize that, there'll be no way to lie about the corruption anymore. The numbers will be in front of us. The truth will be there. Shares will not be delivered to people, and people will know why. None of us expect all of us to get ape. No real AMC ape fully expects to get one ape share for every share they own. None of us do. I'd be utterly shocked if I have a share for every ape. And if I do, I'm certain that there are millions of people who won't. Because it's just not enough. It's not enough. And those who are worried about, oh, well, ape is going to dilute once that happens. Yes, thus proving what it is we're here to prove. Remember, we don't care about the price on AMC at all. We've seen it at $10 3 months ago. It's at $24 right now. Last June, we seen it hit 72. It doesn't matter if the price goes from 25 to 12. That's where we were 2 weeks ago. It doesn't matter. Because the point is, they're pushing it down. Like, we need to understand that. The very point that I just made about if we walk away, this thing goes down 70% in one day, that's everything in regards to this. So those who are worried about that the stock is going to dilute, all this is going to happen, listen, the only thing keeping this thing above water is the apes holding it. That's it. That's it. Anybody pay attention to what happened with Redbox this week? Because Redbox is being shorted the same way. Redbox dropped 50% today, last week. 50% one day. The volatility on that thing is crazy. Why? Because there's no base of apes keeping it from being pushed backwards into the ground. There's nothing keeping it up. They're shorting it with all of their might, and you're seeing what it looks like when there's no apes there. If you look at Redbox, that's what it looks like. That's what AMC is going to look like, only much worse because they're shorting it 1,000 times more because of all the pressure that we are pushing against them. That's what I'm telling you. So for those who are worried about the apes walking away or we're not going to be here, believe you me, if we're not here, the opposite of Moas takes place. You're going to see the thing go to the ground. Quick. Terra Luna style. And so that's what I'm trying to explain to people. Look, who cares if the ape dilutes this or that? And who cares if the thing tanks 50% tomorrow? Doesn't matter. You know why? Because all we're going to do is buy more of it. All that's going to do is prove that these shares are synthetic and that there are about 4 or 5 billion of them sliding around out there. And at that point, then Aaron can start taking steps against that in the forefront, on camera, on the record. And my friends, when that happens, a lot of things can happen that couldn't happen over the last year and a half. A lot of things can happen that wasn't possible. That's the point. So I'm supporting Aaron on this situation. I don't care if the stock goes to $9 tomorrow. I literally do not care. I'll be happy if it does. Buy more. Okay? I don't care. Ape, preferred shares, stock. I don't give a damn about that thing. I don't care about it. I'm going to keep it in my account because it represents what it is that I own as an AMC ape. But as far as, oh my God, is it going to go to the moon? Is it going to go to the floor? Are they going to short it to hell? Who cares? I don't care. Because AMC is what I'm here for. There's only so many of those shares that are actually real. Everything that they're selling in AMC for the last year and probably more than a year and a half has been synthetic any damn way. All of them. I don't think a real share has probably passed around in probably over a year. Because I know the apes own probably all the real shares. So as far as this concern, oh, we're going to dilute that. Oh my God, we don't have as much shares. Oh, they can do that. I want people to think about something. I want people to really think about something. Dilute AMC from what exactly? Think about it. We don't know how many shares exist. Diluted from what? I want people to think about this. We're worried about our AMC being flooded with too many apes. Too many ape preferred shares. But the AMC itself has a question mark on how many shares are actually out there. So diluted from what? From what? The price ain't real. What it says is represented in the price ain't real. In other words, the cumulative amount of what it says that your AMC is worth, if you got 100 shares or whatever that say, that ain't what it's worth. The price ain't what it's worth, and the accumulative amount ain't what it's worth. So what is it diluting from exactly? That is an illusion. That's not the real price. That's the price you're trading it at if you agree to sell, which none of us should be. That's the price we're buying it at, which if we're buying it, we don't care what the price is, so it doesn't matter. Don't lose sight of the fact that no matter what the price is, if it's not where you want it to be, you're not selling it. Don't lose sight of that. Because fear, uncertainty, and doubt will make you forget that you're in control of the circumstances as it pertains to whether or not you let go of your shares. I don't care what the price say. I'm not letting it go until I see it somewhere I want it to be. So they can drive it down to $5, they can drive it down to 50 cents, they can drive it up to $500. If I'm not happy with the price, I'm not selling. It doesn't matter what it says. Diluted from what? People worry about them diluting it to a certain point, and I'm trying to tell you, I mean, the thing is probably infinite right now. For all I know, there's 1 trillion AMC shares in flotation right now, like with a T. Because when you let something get out of hand and you multiply something infinitely, where does it stop? People are assuming it stops. I don't assume this stops. We're talking about electronics. They don't have to stop. I think people are assuming that this thing actually stopped accumulating shares. No, baby. No, if something is duplicating and duplicating and duplicating in the billions, it doesn't stop. Think about it. How many shares out there? How much time has been going on? It didn't stop. That's what I'm here to tell you. See, I don't have data. I'm just telling you what's logical to me, and that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be that. But it stands to reason why that does make all the sense in the world. Who's stopping them from making more shares? If no one's stopping them from doing it, and the point is to push the thing downward, and we're providing pressure that's keeping it from being pressed downward, where does the stop take place for the duplication of shares? It does not. They keep making them. Keep. See, that's why I refer to Terra Luna, because Terra Luna opened my eyes to the understanding of what numbers actually are as it pertains to this type of thing. Ain't no infinite. It's infinite. There's no stop. Things are gonna keep duplicating, just like a stable coin. To keep itself stable, that's what it does. Whatever it takes. 6 trillion, 7 trillion, whatever it takes. Why would this be any different? Wouldn't be. Wouldn't be at all. How many shares do I think of AMC are actually out there? Trillions. With a T. I do. I don't think it's billions at all. I think that thing kept duplicating infinitely. And as time continues to go on, it's going to continue to duplicate. That's how many shares are out there. Infinite. Until someone stops the thing from doing what it's doing, it's going to keep doing it. So, diluted from what? As far as I'm concerned, I can tell if my hypothesis of what's actually out there is true, there's no covering this. There's no covering AMC. You throw all the money in the world at it, and then you keep on throwing all the money in the world at it forever. That's how this actually looks to me. So when we say the biggest wealth transfer in the history of the world, yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Because these aren't, this isn't a normal circumstance. I'm dealing with electronics. And so, that's what I'm saying to you guys. That's what I think is going on. That's just my own talk. I don't have any, like I said, I'm not a guy. I'm not even in New York. So, you pay attention to me and you say, hey, that's somebody talking, and move on to another person who's talking. But what I'm telling you is what I'm saying to you is we're dealing with people who are manipulating the financial market, which means whatever your dream number is or whatever you think is logical, they're not thinking about that. How much money is in the world today? Right? How much money was in the world 100 years ago? Right? If you're looking at how the money has gone in terms of how it's duplicated and how much is in rotation, how much is going to be needed going forward, if you're looking at it from that, in that pace, then you understand what a person who's trying to manipulate the entire market, you start thinking about the type of numbers that they may be thinking about. You know what I'm saying? Because if I'm going to rig the entire financial market, I'm not shooting for all the money in the world at all. I'm shooting for all the money I can get. Meaning, I want to make sure I have enough money for the future's all the money in the world too. I want to have all the money in the world in the future. I want to have all the money in the world past that. I want to have all the money in the world past that. And I want to be able to double that. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's no end. Greed doesn't have an end. Rigging all of the world's economy doesn't have an end. Because if you've been paying attention, you expect money to double, just like you expect people to double. So if you're trying to make sure you align your pockets to be able to control the world ahead, then it's infinite. It's infinite. It ain't 1 trillion, 2 trillion. You're creating quadrillion. You're going further past the T's. You're trying to make sure that you have the ability to hub all currency. That's what you're dreaming of if you're them. You're not trying to align your pockets. You're trying to control the flow itself. Ain't no dollar anywhere, no currency anywhere not accounted for. You control the flow. And so when you understand what they're dreaming about, then you stop thinking all this small, oh, how many shares out there? Maybe 7 billion. Nah, people, no, ain't no 7 billion. No. Bigger numbers. How many stars are in the solar system? I don't know. That's how much money they want, though. I don't know. We're not talking about numbers that you can count. We're talking about numbers that continue for light years. Just like I was trying to explain to you guys about how I'm perceiving the duplication of shares. That's how I'm perceiving the greed of man. No. I want money to continue to repeatedly flow into my situation for the duration of time and space. You understand what I'm saying? That's how they're thinking. So, that's what we're going against. Like I said, the only thing stopping them is an act of God. Why? Because these are God-like figures we're going up against. When you have this much control, yeah, you're competing with him. At least you think you are. But then he puts an end to it, and that's what we are. My name is BDL44. I'll thank you all for watching.